Hello. I would ask, but I already get the sense of how everybody is doing. Rather bizarre times that we are watching unfold in front of us right now. Maybe it's best to start with the moments of silence and grounding in to yourself, taking a few breaths and being present. And for some, it's very heavy. Myself being one of those. There's a lot of division going on right now. I can see this. Lots of people can see this. And it's important that we collectively understand that, we don't need to play into the narrative of a looming outcome, right? I just wanted to, give a little reminder that, what I've been anticipating, lots of people have been anticipating, is 2020 is, and not was, but still is the year of, this veil being unlifted and seeing things for their true nature, which is very much what we have going on right now. So, what does that exactly mean? Well, no easier way to put it than this is all a fabricated hoax. This is all a strategy to divide people at the last minute, right before the most magnificent thing people could be rewarded with, could receive, I believe. So this is what's happening, people. This virus is not real. It's no different from a cold, a flu that you would get any other time. There's been such a narrative around it and such fear around it that has caused and, forced isolation from this that we haven't experienced collectively as a people. This has put truth in the forefront of our faces. Has allowed us the time to sit back and delve deeper into our studies or relax, or as I've done, further question things. And it's been challenging, undoubtedly, but it's also been a blessing. And this isn't to take away from the people that have still lost their lives. This happens. This happens. It's the nature of life. Regarding diseases, we've been played against each other to now have so many different sides that we can't be fighting each other on things that we should just understand. You have people acting so irrationally over things that they're allowing other people to tell them. And these people being health professionals or being people in the government or media sources, whatever it is. You've listened and you've been duped. We've watched the decline of the numbers, as whatever it was, and all of a sudden we have an instance of a black man being murdered in front of witnesses, and the whole situation is entirely improper. If you watch the video and you see the way that these medics and even the officer supposedly handles the situation, this is orchestrated. And you can do some more research into George Floyd, and there's more than one person that represents that, which is the crutch that they know breaks people's backs and turns on one another. I try to respect, right? I have never walked down the streets and received judgments by simply just being, and that by, being a black person and walking down the street and seeing looks that you would not normally get. Like, this is everyday life that I will never understand. And I can sympathize and empathize with my brothers, but if we're playing color games, that's our metaphysical bodies contain all of the colors of the spectrum, and it's not defined by just one. And we are reflections of that here. And this gives us diversity, and it gives us culture, and it gives us so many different elements that can inspire and we should grow from. And we've somehow turned it into a race thing that we are divided by. Where I come from, I don't see race, or I don't see color differences. It's silly for me to think like that. But that doesn't mean that I don't see people still segregated. And that's, I think, the biggest difference of it is that, this segregation still occurs, and that's what the problem is. It's something that needs to be taken care of across the board. I said something the other day. It's, Black Lives Matter, African lives matter, Indian lives matter, Chinese lives matter, Aboriginal lives matter, Islanders. There's so many people with disadvantages and opportunities that aren't presented for them based off of their skin tone and where they're located and what they're allowed access for. We have to pray for all of these people. And we have to be the voices for the ones that can't even speak or don't even have an opportunity to stand up to a government to potentially initiate change. These are big responsibilities. And it takes knowing the truth to face it head on, and taking confrontation and criticism, whatever it may be, and using it as an opportunity to help each other understand instead of fighting, So that's where I'm at with this current situation. And, I would expect more and more things to unravel in these coming months that will shock and surprise you before something happens that you never thought was going to happen. So it's a matter of us to be prepared mentally, physically, and spiritually. We have collectively shaken up at the moment. And this is not a bad thing, but we need to come back and understand, what are we fighting for? This is bigger than a race war. This is us versus the Zionist, globalist elite forces on this planet that have oppressed all people from what we really are. It's the biggest secret. Because when we understand that, nobody would stand for the kind of division that takes place here. Yeah.